Must be.
But Veterans Day, yeah, I would think we would do the, that would be election day.
Yeah, I think
I'm thinking we would do the meant to do the 8th.
I think so too.
So I was close.
You know what, I mean, whatever you want to do.
No matter what, it was wrong.
I thought you liked the weed a little bit in November.
So.
There's the back. Noticed after the fact that
Where,
I think it's this week. This one.
oh, yep, it was a cut and paste, yep.
Wow. This one I was going over it one more time at town hall.
Hey, how many times do we look at this? And that says Mary, me, you.
They're not doing the installation. They're just delivering.
Oh, okay. The delivery. So if you bring those things up before the resolution's made, it's just easier. No, seriously, that's how many people look at that and.
I mean, I read through it the other day, I read through it this morning, and then I go back tonight and I read through it.
And this is after Mary did her read through.
But, yeah, I mean, actually,
And you mostly get my left side.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Figured you'd want one, so we're good. So I
Don't need to do anything. When we're all done, we'll stop. And then we'll see how well it turns out.
Cool.
There's a board in the front behind you.
Thank you.
You probably already noticed, but better safe than sorry.
I did, but it's always good to, reiterate that. So cool.
Can't quite get everyone in the view, but it's most of the people.
Yeah. It's a good test.
Yeah, I mean, stuff we already have.
Yes.
Absolutely. If this works close, one here and one down there, looking at each other, should give you the whole board.
Oh, yeah. And would
then
you
Zoom-
have like?
Zoom will handle the splicing, so someone who watched it will see one right next to each other.
Perfect. That'd be awesome.
But if this doesn't work at all,
Yeah.
we won't bother trying that.
Yeah.
We'll buy something special.
But like you said, if it works with what we have,
Yeah.
why reinvent the wheel?
I asked the school what they use. A little expensive, but it's an option.
Yeah. Oh, cool. All right.
Sit down now.
I will try not to make faces in front of it.
we just want to make sure. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Call the meeting to order, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to make a couple of alterations to the agenda before we continue. I'd like to add a new number 4, which is the swearing in of Andrew Cachetta as the Mendon Highway Superintendent, the elected Mendon Highway Superintendent. Also like to delete number 58 and number 61. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We'll move on to number 4, which is swearing in of Andrew Cachetta. So is anybody willing to take a picture of Andy? I'm not so crazy about me being in it, but maybe at least Andy.
I can do it.
It would just be, have him repeat after you and I, state his name, and then duties of highway superintendent, and then according to the ability.
Okay. So if you would repeat after me, I, and your name,
I, Andrew Pichetta,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of highway
the
superintendent
duties of highway superintendent
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Now he has to sign.
Yeah, so we're gonna fill this out here, Andy. I'll fill this part out for you, but if you would just sign on that line right after that, and then I'll fill this part out and I'll do all that stuff. Awesome, congrats.
Let me give the pen out to
Congratulations, Andy. Public comment, anybody? Move on to number 5, which is delegation of administrative duties to the supervisor. I'm sorry. Number 6.
So try to get fancy.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the following. Be it resolved pursuant to town law 2916, the town board hereby authorizes delegates of town supervisor powers and duties of day-to-day administration and supervision of all towns, districts, facilities, employees consistent with the furtherance of any and all statements of the law applicable thereto and with any and all local laws, resolution or policies theretofore and hereafter adopted by this town board.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Move on to position appointments. We don't have to show them, we don't have to read all of this, right? So we can.
Now you know.
Get that first one under your belt and then.
In fact, you don't have to read any of them because they're already in, it's handed out there.
I'll make a motion to retain the following part-time positions as listed for a term to expire December 31st, 2000.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is position retention. These are supervisor appointments.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is deputy town supervisor. I'm advising the board that I've appointed John Hingreen to that position, term to expire in December 31st, 2021. I'm also notifying the board that I'm appointing Mary Fletcher as finance officer, expires, that should be 21 on there. It says 20. December 31st, 2021. And I'm also advising the board that I am appointing Mary Fletcher as secretary to the supervisor, same expiration date, and appointing Diane Ham as historian, similar, same expiration date. Number 9 is deputy town clerk part-time.
I'll second, Jim.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
And I will notify the board that I have appointed Bonnie Toomey to fill that position for this year.
Next is highway department disposition retentions and appointments.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is a resolution for the appointment of Denise Zimmerman as highway clerk part-time.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is a resolution to adopt the following. The board retains position of deputy highway superintendent.
For a one-year term.
Yes, this is to retain the position.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, so his, Andrew's term will be up. And then finally, if he wants to continue, he can run for a 2-year term.
Correct.
Okay.
But this is for the deputy.
Oh, this is the deputy, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. I see that. Yep.
And Andy has notified me that he would like to reappoint Art Morel as deputy highway superintendent. Zoning Board of Appeals attorney.
Could we need to
No.
finish that vote. We had a discussion before the vote, which is appropriate.
We got it first. We got it.
You got it.
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Next is Zoning Board of Appeals attorney.
Make a motion to reappoint Boyle and Code for a term expired December 31st, 2021.
Second.
Any discussion?
Are they committed to the same lawyers that we have?
Yes.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is Planning Board attorney, position retention and appointment. Excuse me.
Make a motion to retain the position of planning board attorney and appoint a young term to expire December 31st, 2021.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is position retention and appointment for deputy town attorney.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is court justice, temporary assignment of justices.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Liaisons, I'm appointing the following town board members, elected officials as liaisons. Next is town board meeting schedule. We've got one change there, which is November, should be the 8th and not the 18th. A little typo.
So moved.
I'll second.
Go ahead,
Give the
give it to Tom.
All right.
You can have it, Tom.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? If you notice, we got 13 meetings, and in September, we still have the 2 meetings. Just kind of helps that budget process along. Next is standard workday for elected and appointed officials.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is 2021 holiday schedules. If you notice, there's one for town hall and a different one for highway department.
And we're just acknowledging.
Yes.
We did those in November. Yep.
Town hall operating hours, once again, that's just an acknowledgement. Onto policy procedures and manual.
Make a motion to adopt the town amendment policy and procedures manual.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Emergency preparedness disaster plan.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Official town map.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
How much does that cost?
Do we have any for sale?
We don't have any for sale. The latest updates you've had done through the county, right? And they
Right.
don't cost us
Yeah.
anything to make changes on an official map. We just haven't had any printed for sale for a while.
We just need to vote, right? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I'm too curious.
That's fine.
Yeah. Official newspaper.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Just a reminder to everyone that, quite frankly, if it wasn't for the Sentinel and being available for, to have legal notices in, I think we'd have to go to someplace like the DNC, which would charge an arm and a leg, right?
Yeah.
So it's,
There's just a number of towns have been discussing, the Messenger Post has been going through some turnover in their employees, and it's been a mess, and a lot of them are going to the Daily Record and the DNC, and those are both big bucks. So we're kind of lucky.
we are. And I think the publisher, and reminding them that is a savings to the town. Which he appreciated. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Emergency response, highway department.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next is Mendon Fire Hall Ice Control.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Boards, committees, and commissions advertised for meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Official undertakings.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next are salaries for elected, appointed, and hourly wages.
I'll make a motion to accept the attached hourly wages based on the employees' capabilities and job description.
I'm sorry, we moved it. We haven't had a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Did any of these change?
Yes, they have changed because most of the salary and hourly went up 3%. Some of the flat fees, which are like conservation board, planning board, and things like that, stayed the same. And I think that pretty much covers everything.
So just the hourlies went up 3%? No, everybody did.
No,
Everybody.
well, everybody except the people who receive a flat amount per meeting for the planning board, zoning board, conservation board, those all stayed the same. Those are flat.
Okay.
But everyone else, I believe, received a 3% increase from 2020 to 2021. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is personnel policy variable items associated with policies. These are medical benefits, dental benefits, medical opt-out, health reimbursement account, clothing allowance, work shoes, employee recognition, vacation time, and eligibility.
So
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we'll go on to salary schedule. This is the payment cycle.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Usual 26 pay days. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Mileage allowance.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? So a couple of weeks ago, the Association of Towns offered a webinar on organizational meetings. And previously, we just said for anybody who used their vehicle, would get redeemed a mileage. They said that they strongly suggested that we identify the positions that were eligible for reimbursement. So that's a change from last year. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Annual report of supervisor.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is annual accounting. This is for a town board committee.
make a motion to appoint Mrs. Carroll and Mr. Hagreen to a town board committee to meet for the purpose of an annual accounting on or before April 1st or soon thereafter as possible.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
And just have Cindy put it in that calendar.
What'd you say?
Oh, put it in your calendar. I'll just meet you then.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next is a accounting for the justice. Excuse me.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mrs. Jenkins and Mr. Dubois as town board committee to meet for the purpose of annual accounting of the justice courts on or before April 1st, 2021, or as soon thereafter as possible.
I'll second.
Any discussion? It'll be a little shorter this year. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Just because the court's been closed frequently, is currently closed. Official banks.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Payments before audit.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Review of monthly vouchers.
So moved.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's
That's
Oh,
kind of
that's-
a schedule.
sorry. Petty cash funds.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The fee schedule, this goes on several pages. No, as I recall, Jim, I don't know if you recall, but I don't think there were any changes in that. You,
This, I thought the square footage, the building permit square footage went up. Did that go up?
no, I'm not sure. I wasn't in on that
Yeah.
conversation, but it could very well.
No, there wasn't very many changes at all. We updated things. things like our dog impoundment fees and things, and I did put some asterisks in there. A couple of these, at least under my category, we're still doing the, like the peddler's permit. Obviously, it's still part of the fee schedule. Currently, the town is not allowing peddling in the town. Impounds, due to COVID, we can only do at the emergency care facility. So other than that, I think everything is pretty much the same.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is the Environmental Conservation Board. We just left this on here because from the information that we received on the 4 people who were on it in 2020, none of them had provided their training. Peter Carosa, his term expired 12/31/20. So we are asking later in the meeting for some response, but I did not have a reappointment down for him or anyone else at this point in time. For Historic Preservation Commission, which is the next one, which is chair appointment.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next are member appointments. We can do all 3 of these if you would like to, being Lynn Ballman, Lynn Menz, and Emily Watson.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just a clarification, Lynn Menz she was like the village historian, now she's a voting member? She's not really a voting member.
No.
She is a village historian, and she is, I believe she has been a voting member in there.
Yes, she
Oh,
was.
has she been? Okay.
I believe so.
Yes.
I think we changed that, or was it, no, that was Diane.
Diane, I thought she and her never seemed to vote like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Lynn is a full-fledged member.
Okay.
Diane really doesn't get a vote.
Okay.
She's more of a, what would you call her, Sheldon? Like
Ex officio.
Consultant, ex officio. So.
Both.
I'm sorry, Jim, did we vote?
Not on the 3 members, no. We were discussing.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is planning board. This is for training documentation.
So moved.
Second.
So because of COVID, there weren't a lot of training opportunities this year, but there were a fair number online, and some people sought them out. But Brent is basically asking us to consider the work that he did as far as training and reading about the 7 deadly sins and designs of water systems as accredited training. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is chair appointment.
I make a motion to appoint Brett Resnick as chair of planning board, term to expire December 31st, 2021.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, vice chair appointment.
Make a motion to appoint the following individual planning board vice chair, Thomas G. Ford, Voorhees, term to expire December 31st, 2021.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next is member appointment.
Make a motion to appoint the following individual, Dustin Suchon, term to expire December 31st, 2025.
And Mr. John, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but anyway, he did receive training in 2012.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next is chair appointment.
Make a motion to appoint Danny Bassett as chair of the zoning board of appeals, term to expire December 31st, 2020.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Records Management Advisory Board.
Make the motion to approve town clerk's recommendation for the following individuals to serve on the Records Management Advisory Board, terms to expire December 31st, 2021. Diane C. Han and Mary Louise myself. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Engineering Planning Service Agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Their rates did not change from 2020.
Good news.
Yeah, that's the good news. The bad news is they're the same.
That was funny. That was funny.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Highway Department agreements. Any discussion? So this, for anybody who's not familiar, this is a legal agreement under section 284 of highway law between the town board and highway superintendent, which details what he's going to do, what roads, and approximately how much it's going to cost. Obviously, between now and when the work gets done, certain costs can fluctuate, but it should be pretty close. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is commercial driver's license drug testing policy.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is the Hamlet Street Lighting Maintenance Agreement.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is heating and cooling, Town Hall.
So moved.
Any discussion? Interestingly enough, today, when we arrived, half the building didn't have heat. So we called John Butlam and they were there, I don't know, give or take noon.
Few hours.
And fixed by the end of the day. It was a heat exchanger, for lack of a better term. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Security system.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? So we have some, what we call panic buttons at Town Hall. And I've been in touch with Tyco because I would like to increase the number of buttons. I would like to have them tested because they haven't been tested in a while. And I think that we need more. So I'm trying to get an estimate actually from Tyco to put about another 6 panic buttons inside Town Hall.
When you push the panic button, where does it go?
911. Luckily, haven't needed them, but I wouldn't want somebody to try to find their way across the room to push one in an emergency situation. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is sprinkler system service.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, fire extinguisher service.
So moved.
Second.
We changed over to Global because we had two different companies providing fire extinguisher service. And Global is a local company to Mendon. And one of the last times we had one of the fire extinguishers companies come, one of the gentlemen had a certain aroma of an illegal substance about it. So we changed. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is community center agreements.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next is security system at 22 North Main Street.
No, you left that on. That was security system for this building.
I'm sorry, that's security system for this building. I'm sorry. Thank you, Jim. Security system for this building. We've talked a little bit about the security system here. We've now have the internet here. We're thinking that there might be a better choice. And to be honest with you, there's just not that much that somebody's gonna break in here and steal. Because we're paying for internet, I'm wondering if we should take a look at whether or not we actually need a security system here. The doors at the bottom of the stairs are always locked, so the Legion has that added security as well as everything. There's another office that's behind a locked door down there that provides a third layer of security. So just taking a look at it to see, Jim and I have talked possibly about putting a camera by the entrance to, that way we could monitor instead, do some self-monitoring instead of actually having a security system in here as long as we have internet. So we continue to tweak that a little bit as we go. 22 North Main Street, heating and cooling.
So
Second.
Any discussion? This is the library building. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next is agreement with the Village of Huntington Falls regarding snowplow of sidewalks.
So moved.
Second.
Go ahead, Karen.
Any discussion? We've kind of had a little bit of a hiccup on this lately. So we are gonna double check with the village because I don't know, they haven't been doing part of it or, so we'll check with them. Luckily, we haven't had too many occasions for it, but there's been, I don't know whether the information just has dragged amongst the village, I believe, as to that they're agreeing to do that.
does this end up being almost work sharing or whatever?
Yeah, shared services, yes. Yeah, that's been one of our shared services for as long as we've had the library open. They made some complaints to Andy about being able to fit between the rail and the retaining wall down by the street. And we'll just have to work with them on.
Did we end up buying the street sweeper? We haven't purchased it yet, but we're going to. Thank you.
Next is, or I'm sorry, we haven't voted on that, have we, Jim?
No.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is the Huntington Falls Lima Central School District Agreement to use Semmel Park.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Have they been using that at all, Andy? I know a lot of their.
Yeah, they were running quite a bit, and then they were cross-country skiing when there was some snow.
Oh,
So
good.
They do park there. I haven't seen them lately, but probably because of the
They
Christmas
haven't
holiday.
been there in a couple, my son's on the team, so
Oh, okay.
I know everywhere they are.
Christmas, a couple Christmas holidays, I'm thinking maybe they weren't running for skiing. But they have been there.
Well, I'm glad they're using it. It's good. Do we need to vote, Jim?
I wrote down that we did.
Okay. Did we? I can't remember.
Did we?
Sorry, I got off on a tangent.
I think we did.
Yeah, I think.
All right.
We did.
Monroe County agreements, this is a work agreement.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Signage and striping agreements.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next is the community band concert.
So moved.
Second.
So with COVID, I don't know if this is gonna happen or not. But this would put in the budget. Obviously, if they perform the concerts, we would pay them. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is the Honey Falls Mendon Historical Society.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So if you remember right back, well, somebody don't remember, but the second part of that contract is where we pay 1/2 of the actual cost of gas, electricity, and telephone to the Society's Museum at Perry Allen Park. Not long after I got into office, we found out that we were paying half the electricity for all of Perry Allen Park. And at that point, the village put in another meter and separated electricity. So that was a bit of a savings to us and worked out fine. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next is use of town meeting rooms.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
What meeting rooms are these?
Well, we really, because of COVID, we didn't really identify it.
Okay.
Normally we do, but we didn't this year because it's just been such a, lack of a better term, crazy year, and rules have changed and et cetera. But we really haven't allowed anyone to meet in here except for obviously the Legion, any town meetings, and we also have opened it up for the village to use. But and the village has taken advantage of it a couple of times, I believe.
Yeah.
But
And both party committees have been able to use it.
I'm sorry.
Both the Democratic and,
the-
yeah, both those
yeah,
committees have been able to
political
use it, yes.
But don't we also have the Cub Scouts or the Boy Scouts?
We have not because of COVID. The school isn't allowing it.
We did get bumped.
We were bumped out of here once.
They had-
In the pavilion.
Yeah, there was one during the, I guess I would say, things had kind of calmed down a little bit. But since then, we just haven't allowed any public meetings here, or rental of the space or anything like that lately. If we can, things improve, I think we certainly can consider opening it up for public use. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is dog impound facility.
And that's just an acknowledgement because we did do that one in December.
The next one at Summer Road farming lease, that you can take out the two names at the top of that.
Yeah, sorry, that was a cut and paste. From 2 years ago.
Well, why don't you make a motion now? I'll second that.
It's so much easier, yeah. If you could just let me fill it in ahead of time, I'll do that.
We'll just follow directions.
I'll second that.
Thank you so much.
So once again, this is the land across from the highway department on Summer Road. That's about 33.5 acres that we have advertised. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We'll move on to communications. Jim?
Yeah, just a couple of things, kind of a standard thing. We haven't had one of these in a while, but we did receive the Cottage Hotel in Mendon's 30-day pre-notification of their renewal of their liquor license. So that allows the municipal board 30 days to comment, doesn't require it, but we did receive that. We started collecting town and county taxes, and just really briefly, through the first week, we have collected just a little bit over $508,000, of which I've turned over to the town $126,000. So with and I think easy to figure out, the county has gone back to a fee, not the exact same fee, but only $5,200 worth of credit card charges so far, versus quite a lot more last year. So, and just in case anybody's not aware, they are no longer absorbing the entire fee. There was a 3% fee on credit card online purchases. They have reduced that to 2.75%, but because that was mainly due to federal COVID funding, they are not continuing that into this year. So.
Jim, can you describe, and you do a better job of this than me, the fact that we get, when you collect, we get all, well, our take, so to speak?
Yeah, so obviously we're collecting town and county tax. The county makes us whole. The county is our collection agency. No matter what, we get our money off the top. So the town always gets, and they do the same for the school district. The town always gets the entire amount of their warrant for collection. So then I collect for the county after that through the end of May. But then the county, any unpaids, the county has the responsibility, or has taken the responsibility of collecting those delinquent and overdue payments. So it's not like that in every county in New York State. We are very lucky.
So clearly we have our warrant before January.
Yes, yeah, we legally received, I came in the mail yesterday, get our warrant. I can start collecting December 31st. So that is the legal date that the county legislature directs me to start collecting taxes.
Thank you. Sheldon?
Nothing.
John? Tom? Cindy?
Just a couple of things. First, on the library, they have changed their hours starting today. Monday through Thursday, they'll be open from 10 to 7. And there are no changes on Friday or Saturday. And they approved, or excuse me, they reviewed their operating budget for the upcoming year. And then that's it.
Karen?
Nothing.
Okay, I had a couple items. There is another shared service committee or whatever it is from all the towns and villages that I've been taking part in with Monroe County. They've all been virtual meetings, I've taken part in that. I have also been interviewing for the supervisor secretary position and various boards and commissions. I've sent everybody via email a list of everybody's who's on these boards and commissions, as well as their term expiration date and whether or not they've received training in 2020, and all the people who have expressed interest, and anybody who's new on that list, who's at the bottom, if there's not an asterisk after their name, that they're new, which I interviewed via Zoom, and I know, John, you were on at least one of those. Right. So once the dust settles from the training issue, I think then we could look into some of these folks who expressed. I was asked a question about our disability policy, which we do have. However, it is for full-time town employees and library employees, according to the New York State Comptroller's Office, Association of Towns, are not town employees. They are library employees that are employed by the Library Board of Trustees. Thus, they are not eligible for the town's disability policy. We also, the badges, those were done today, handed out. I think it's something that is a good thing, for everybody on the various boards and staff members. If they go to look at a property, that identifies them as someone who is, if they're on the planning or zoning board, they want to go look at the property. Or for that matter, anybody who walks into town hall and starts asking questions, it's like, well, who was that I talked to? I think it's a good thing to have, and it's been something that's been on my radar for a while. And Denise Zimmerman did a lot of work on that. And I applaud her work. I think she did a very nice job with it.
Do the town employees work, like, all work day?
Today's the first day we had them.
Oh, yes, I mean, that's.
Yeah.
We handed them out.
And he made us,
What's that?
and he made us wear
It'll
them.
probably take a little while before everybody gets used to it, but,
Just curious.
we'll get there. Let's see. The duct cleaning starts at Town Hall, starts on Wednesday. May go as far, definitely probably go Thursday, may go as far as Friday. Talking to the town board, he said it's probably been 20 years since the duct work has been cleaned out. And maybe I won't sneeze several times a day. Salary survey from Monroe County, we received that. I had Mary print that for everybody on some pretty big paper. It's a little easier to see on that. Basically, they separate the small towns from the big towns, but it's good information. I refer to that document several times a year. I put information in the Sentinel and on our Facebook page about the fire protection area and the contract, increase in the contract, just because I think people should know why their bill went up. The EV station is up and running, thanks to John Hebring.
Yay, good job, John.
Yeah, nice job.
14 cents a kilowatt hour.
Which just for your information, our peak charge from National Grid isn't it? Provides electricity, I think it's National Grid, is like 12.5 cents or something like that. So we're not making anything, but we wanted to make sure we were recouping, I should say, not recuperating.
Could we post that on the Honeywood Falls site, the Facebook site?
You mean the town of Mendon's?
Yeah,
I don't post anything on any of the so-called community pages.
well, that might be kind of a nice thing to let our community.
Well, Kelly is gonna do a press release from the library,
Okay,
Yeah, they're
probably within a week.
they're excited about it. They've been extremely cooperative with, because Danny had to hook us up through their, obviously with the electricity, we had an electrician do that, but Danny had to do all the, internet connections and all that jazz, so that, because you have to have an internet connection.
And how the money will work, just so people know, is when you charge your car over there, you get charged, however you do a credit card or the app or whatever. They figure that out. They charge us 9%, and then at monthly they'll mail the town of Mendon a check, and we'll give it to the library, I assume.
It'll be credited to their electricity, to their utility bill. Cool. It'll all be internally. They won't actually physically get a check, but it'll be credited to their electric company. Excuse me. I signed up for the Association of Town annual meeting, which will be virtually in February. I signed up for that. Let's see. As Jim mentioned, I received a check from the town clerk for part of the tax warrant for the town. Mentioned heat. John Haygreen and I have started meeting with the ambulance with the village regarding the ambulance on a bi-weekly basis. The contract, as we've talked before, very confusing, has gotten off the tracks on many occasions. Looking to simplify that contract as far as how the computations are done. So we had our first meeting with them last Thursday. We have another meeting with them a week from this Thursday. We also received a check for $8,919.19 from Monroe County for the CARES Act, which is basically the federal government sent the money to the county. The county distributed it for COVID type relief. So those laptops we bought, some of the work the highway department has done, the shield at the town clerk's office, all those things were sent to the county. We did receive a check reimbursement, so that was good. That concludes my communications. We'll move on to Supervisor's monthly report.
make a motion to acknowledge the receipt of the supervisor's monthly report for December 2020.
Second.
Any discussion?
Has worked out to be a pretty decent year for what we thought.
Based on, yeah.
It really turned out pretty good. I mean, we received 103% of our revenue and expensed 88% of our expenses. You know, certainly, you know, I think there were a few things because of COVID we didn't spend money on, like summer rec and those concerts, things like that. I would have been glad to spend the money on if we didn't have COVID. But all in all, I think it came out pretty well. Our mortgage tax really put us over the hump this year, even though sales tax was okay, but the mortgage tax really helped us this year.
John, do you know, what is this -47 in special districts?
That is a good thing. That means we collected more than required.
Okay.
So if you look over at the budgeted amount and the year to date, so that money actually stays in that special district and will be applied to the following year.
Okay.
So any of those numbers where you see balance and revenues that are in the negative means we collected more money than we thought we would, which is technically a good thing. Let's see here. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the town clerk's monthly report.
Motion to acknowledge receipt of the town clerk's monthly report for December 2020, showing receipts and disbursements in the amount of $1,634.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
What is murder in Mendon?
Great.
Yeah, that's it's a book that both Diane Ham and Lynn Menz together wrote, and it is a very popular item in our gift shop.
I didn't even want.
Probably a good stocking stuffer.
It is nice. It's nice. Yeah. All true stories.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Amen, Road.
In a wild town back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We vote.
Not yet.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Let's move on to budget adjustments and transfers. So these are for 2020.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Once again, I'm gonna give Mary Fletcher, the finance director, an attaboy or an attagirl, I guess I'll call it. That I think last month we had one. This month we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 transfers at this time of year is well done. She's kept it monitored, and you know, each one of you should share in that. Congratulations, because if you didn't do a good job budgeting, you'd have a page and a half of these things this time of year. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next are vouchers.
Make a motion to approve all claims on vouchers numbered 0012037 and general abstract 21-01 in the amount of $386,004.87.
Any discussion?
I just wanted to make mention of the fact that $206,000, almost $207,000 is for the retirement fund, and 81,000 is for insurance, and 63,000 for perma.
And those are, payments that we make once a year. Because we don't spread out the payments, we save money because there isn't a service charge or any of that kind of thing. So our goal is to pay it up front, pay it first, get it out of the way, and that way we don't, like you said, we save a few bucks here and there with various fees. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. You want to do the libraries?
Oh, I'm sorry. And I'm also making note that the library vouchers numbered 20-001 to 20-006 on library abstract 21-01 in the amount of $2,007.02 were presented to the town board for payment.
Thank you. The next one on town hall security, I pretty much covered all that with the panic buttons. Next, we'll move on to job description revision for finance director.
So
Second.
So because of Mary's impending retirement, we'll be advertising for that position. And when we pulled the job description, it talked about the summer recreation program, being that person being the fiscal officer. And because we don't run that program anymore, I wanted to get that out of the job description.
Good move. Makes sense.
Any other discussion?
When are we going to post this job?
This week?
And
This-
how are we gonna do that?
Well, I'm gonna put it on our Facebook. I'm gonna do it with, I'll put an ad in the Sentinel. I've also got a call into Jerry Kraus, who's the supervisor in Rush. He just hired a finance director. So I wanted to talk to him, see where he advertised, see where he got, most of his responses came from, that type of thing. I've also talked to several other town supervisors about filling this position. So generally what happens is that the bigger fish eat the little fish, so to speak. So when the bigger towns have an opening, they a lot of times scoop in and take a finance director from one of the smaller towns because they can offer more money and they want somebody with experience. Most of the time, the smaller towns do not find somebody with municipal experience for the job. I'm not saying we wouldn't find somebody, but as in talking to some of the other towns, it's very rare that a small town would find somebody with municipal experience.
like AAA ball.
Yes. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, boards, commissions, and committees. These are training requirements.
So
Second.
So I touched on this a little while ago, and I did send that in an attaching email a few days, a week ago. Sheldon maybe can expand upon this, but as I understand it, anyone who has not received their training, their decisions could be called into question, and if that decision went to court, their decision could be ruled null and void. Is that correct, sir?
Correct.
So I think we need to, for lack of a better term, put the hammer down on these folks. I have no problem with anybody who's on any of these boards, but they need to do what they all knew this, and they all kicked the can down the road, or probably thought COVID was gonna come in and swoop down and keep them having to do it. But they can go read something like Brent did, or go online. There's plenty of things. I mean, you go on Google zoning and read about it for 4 hours online. 1 hour a night for 4 nights. Submit that to the town board. Town board says that's reasonable training. They can stay on the board. But quite frankly, I think we need to have some parameters on the training. Otherwise, no one's going to do it. And then when we do get hauled into court, we're going to lose.
Do we have a list of the people who have not?
Yes, I sent that to you in an email about a week ago.
Okay.
there's a sheet there.
Did everybody get one of these today?
What's the release?
Date of hire.
Add the date.
Thank you.
So as you can see, we got out of roughly 5, 10, 15, out of 20 people, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 people have completed their training.
So who is reaching out saying this needs to be done in the next couple of weeks? Are the chairs?
I was gonna reach out with a letter tomorrow to everybody who hasn't completed their training, assuming this is approved tonight by this board, is that they've got till Monday 1st to come up with something. Then the town board on the meeting on the 8th will look at what they have and can approve that training. And in which case they would be resume their position, on the various boards. But if they don't do their training, then I think, in my opinion, it would be up by that February 1st at our meeting on February 8th. I personally would vote to remove them because I think they're putting the town at risk.
Yeah, you've given them a buffer. Yeah. They did it done. Yeah. As long as you're kind of explicit when you write to them.
Yes. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is town hall carpeting. In the second sentence, I'm sorry, first sentence, it says delivery and installation. Please delete the and installation part of that resolution. Correct.
So that's just buying it. right?
Yes.
Do we have a quote for installing?
No. I was gonna have our highway department, due to the weather and the shifts that we have the guys on now, we've got some people I think that can do the job. It's all in squares. It's in squares.
That's awesome.
Which is what we have now.
Which
And
is
they're,
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, where there's no obstruction, you're just throwing it down and the arrows on the back
Pretty
all point the same way, so it's nice. Pretty. It's not a, cool. You gotta cut around a few things, but if you make a mistake on one tile, it's not like it's the end of the world. It's not like you're dealing with one piece of carpet or something like that, where you gotta use a kicker and all that jazz. So we did go up, reach out, and we actually got 4 quotes. This was the least expensive quote, and I'm sorry, it's the second least expensive quote, but they included delivery of 70 cartons. So I talked to the town attorney. It would have cost us more in highway employees to go get the one that's $20-some less. But it would cost us more to send 2 guys, I think Andy would agree, to at Rochester to pick up 70 cartons and at least 1, maybe 2 trucks, load it, bring it all back, unload it. These folks are gonna deliver.
So actually, even though on paper it's the second least, second best price, it's actually the best price.
Yeah.
When you factor in, because
You're still gonna get it.
if you make it apples to apples,
Yeah.
this is the best price.
And it's enough to do the entire town hall except for the courtroom and the upstairs hallway, which has relatively new carpeting in it. And this way it'll all match. If anything gets spilled or something happens to a square, you rip it up and throw another square down. It's all from the same die allotment. And, it might take us a while to get it all down, but now we've got it.
So,
Second.
Any other discussion, I should say? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we'll go back to public comment. Dan?
My role as zoning board chair, which you talked earlier, when we talked to John, I did inform the zoning board of training requirements, people down the pipes, they'll be expecting me now. 2 of the 4 people have gotten back to me, and I have passed the message on to John, that they think they've done something you'll need to approve or not, as you said. So hopefully I'll get something the other 2 before too long.
Danny, thank you for doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That much appreciated that you reached out and kind of gave them a heads up in advance. That's
Knew something was coming, might as well give them an extra week to figure something out.
absolutely, and that's what being a chair is all about. It's getting it organized, so thank you. Anybody else? Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
I don't think so, but if you want, I can take it back. I got plenty to go anyway. So yeah, no problem. Not a problem.
Oh, no, you're not.
How are you?
Good thing I wasn't